Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we just had the Belfast event yesterday. We're here in Dublin Airport now, just wrapping up the tour. And one of the questions that was asked anonymously by one of the sisters, which we teased at the end of the event but didn't get a chance to respond to, was that she was worried about her dad, that he's not praying 5 times a day, he's not praying regularly. And as someone who is practicing, as his daughter most importantly, that how can she convince her father to pray and to be steadfast upon praying and steadfast upon the religion?
Look, I think it's always right to start with a direct approach, yeah? Just like we see the same kind of dynamic took place between Abraham and his father in the Quran, and there was a direct approach. But if you start seeing that this fails, or that he's impatient to that kind of thing, which is a very common pattern with these kinds of interactions, then I would say you have to start leading by example. Now, it might be facetious of me to say leading, talking about a daughter with her father, because obviously the dynamic usually is the opposite, that he's the leader of the household. Unfortunately, I would say to you that he forgoes such a status, in fact, if he is incapable of manifesting the basics of Islam. And so he still is, of course, the father and all that kind of thing, but as a role model now, he's lost the status of being a reasonable role model for a family where he doesn't even do the basics of Islam and praying 5 times a day. So I would say that you should lead by example, and you should start praying, let him see you pray, because it might not affect him straight away, but it will affect him psychologically on an unconscious level later down the line, I think.
Perhaps just one thing to add on that, the importance of being a daughter and a son, we tend to get very zealous and almost disrespect the parents in that sense. So it's also important to balance that as well.
Sure.
When you had Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he was talking to his father, he would always be very respectful to his father, although he would say that I have knowledge that you don't have, but he would always respect him, ya abati. He would use words of endearment. So if you can just point on that as well.
No, you said it right. You will never be able to, especially with this kind of a situation, you will never be able to affect change if you're being disrespectful to your parents. You'll never be able to affect change with them. They will be hypersensitive to your kind of criticism in particular. They probably already are hypersensitive to criticism. But if you make it a criticism of someone that they've raised, or they think that they've raised, then it becomes even more difficult. So I think there's always a balance to be struck here.
Jazakumullah khair, and we'll see you again for another video.